Hello and welcome to the Quackcast. This is the Drunkduck Quackcast. I'm Ocean and with me is Dancerine and Baines the Machine.
Hello.
Hello.
I just had to make that rhyme. And today we're talking about a film because this is the Halloween cast, I think, and we decided to talk about Lost Boys just as a special Halloween thing. Hello everybody, I hope you like our theme music, it's always good. We're talking about The Lost Boys, the film, the Joel Schumacher film from 1989. But before we get into that, we've got to bring up the featured comic. Featured comic this week was a little thing called Side Characters, the Side Characters. So I'm going to tell you about the side characters now. Hello, Amazon Nation, and my feature for the week was The Side Characters. The Side Characters follows a pair of young adult siblings as they navigate the silly vicissitudes of life. They move into an apartment together, and already life is full of dramas when they lose the tension screws to the drum set. This is a slice of life comedy focusing on the little things, the small irritations and accidents of life and how they can be blown up into huge importance. I love that sort of thing. The comic is drawn in a very cartoony style, all black and white line art. Yeah, good little slice of life comedy. I love a comedy. And these tiny little instances and scenes, stories of things that happen in them that are just worthy of, I don't know, just a little laugh, a little giggle. Illustrates how their life together is, and it slowly develops their character through showing you these little comedic things that happen to them. So it's a good little comic. I recommend it. And it's called The Side Characters. It's by Dan G. And it's rated E. E for everyone. So yeah, give it a look. And that was a little comic called The Side Characters, which, you would have heard about. Alright, so now we have the featured music. Gummels has given us the theme to a comic called The Deadlies Revamped, which is a pretty fun comic. And it fits in with the Halloween theme, which is good. So, haunting, hollow, creepy intro into a rather more friendly and charming old house with a lovely, friendly, ghostly party going on, till you find out that everybody there is dead and you're all alone amongst these fleeting apparitions who fade away, leaving the house dark and desolate once more. Take it away, Gummels, with your theme to The Deadlies Revamped. And that was our musical theme, which was The Deadlies Revamped. Thank you very much for that, Gobble. This is a comic by Paneltastic, rated T for teens. Okay, so now we're going to be talking about the film The Lost Boys. Because this is our Halloween special, and we often do something silly for Halloween. I mean, a few years ago we did the, what was it, that film about the zombies, like The Evil Dead or something. Return of the Evil Dead.
Oh, the commentary on Return of the Living Dead.
Return of the Living Dead, okay, yeah. Not The Evil Dead, which is another thing entirely. Oh my god, that's a good film. Not The Evil Dead, but the sequel to the third in the sequel, which is the one with.
We'll get there. I'm going to let you get there because I know you can do it. I believe.
Bastard! You still believe? Okay, so. Well, this isn't the Quackcast about that. Whatever that is about going back in time and. Oh yeah. No. We're talking about The Lost Boys here, which is a fantastic 80s film, filmed in 1988, released in 1989, I believe.
I don't think so. I don't mean to nitpick. But
go on. Don't nitpick, just be the new thing. Tell us.
I believe it's 87.
87? Really?
Yes. I think
wow.
so.
All right, I'll take your word for it. I mean, yeah, okay.
If I'm wrong, then we've all got worms on our faces.
People have Google; they can look it up themselves. Anyway, late 80s film. It really comes together with a lot of 80s stuff, and it is not it's not really it still hits, basically. You don't look at it and think, oh my god, this is twee, this is really a sign of the times. You look at it and think, this is still as cool today as it was back then. Don't you think?
Yeah, the visuals, like the clothing and the hair and stuff, definitely pop differently than they did back then. I mean, I think they were still heightened reality back then, but they look really like, whoa, like they're really kind of eye pop, or at least to me, that you don't see that kind of hair on most people.
Big hair, no. But still fits though, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it felt so 80s. Like I felt young again.
I think it takes you to the time rather than giving you a window on the time. I think that's the difference. So you become immersed in it. You don't think, oh, these are strange people. I don't recognize any of this. Oh, weren't they weird back then? You think, okay, I'm one of them now. This is a world I could live in. Yeah. Like I could be here and that would not feel alien or strange to me. I mean, that might be coming different from us because we lived in that world, but...
Exactly. We grew up in that world, basically. Yeah. Like that line that the young brother says, like, there's no TV, and without TV, there is no MTV. Like, that was... wow! It took me back. It took me back.
That is really like telling too, because the whole thing is based on that kind of MTV stuff. In that, like MTV was this big American it was like a station that just played music videos. I think it's still around, but it doesn't do that anymore. But back then, yeah. But not only that, it created a whole pop culture aesthetic. So that really brought to the fore like what is now known as hair metal. People say hair metal, but back then it was all heavy metal had this kind of long hair look. There was no such thing as hair metal in the 80s. It was like if you were a heavy metal band, you had long hair. That was just it. And your leather jackets and all that kind of stuff. But that was really
even if you weren't.
Oh yeah,
even if you weren't.
Normal rock music. Yeah, it's Rolling Stones had that as well. Yeah, everybody had that look. But MTV were really very much behind like bringing that to the fore and having that as their thing. Really, they really like forwarded that look to pop culture. They had this thing called the Headbangers Ball, which was like all these heavy metal bands all together, like, and that went all the way until the early 90s or something like that. So they were really behind that. So that this film is very much about that MTV generation stuff, because a lot of the look and the styles are straight out of 80s music videos. So, do you feel that, Baines? Like it had an 80s
Oh
music
yeah,
video?
for sure. Yeah, it captures the whole aesthetic. I mean, I might have seen that aesthetic somewhat in my world, but definitely saw it on TV and movies all the time. We didn't have MTV. I didn't have cable, but I still understood it because that was part of the generation, you know. Like
Exactly. Same here. I mean, and the whole big hair thing. It was, at least I remember it being mainstream. Like all the hair salons did perms, like big perms.
oh yeah.
And if you open a yearbook of the era, everybody looks like that. Like they have this big hair that
Hair.
yes, teased to exhaustion, and sticking out everywhere and stuff. That was how the era aesthetic.
People were born with those hairstyles. What do you mean? It's all natural. The film has a bit of that, but it's going to the late 80s, so it's not as crazy as it was in the mid 80s. So they're more towards a kind of styled, like the mullety kind of thing is happening there a bit. Like Kiefer Sutherland has like just his pure mullet.
Yeah.
But everyone else has like hair gel on the sides to give their long hair a motherly look. I had that in the 80s, so that was me. Never actually had my hair cut in a mullet, but styled in that from the gel and the mousse and everything.
I might have had a bit of a mullet sometimes, not as extreme as Kiefer's or anything, but yeah, and I would definitely mousse the sides of the hair because the sides would puff out and it would look wrong. those sides foofing out like that. I want to
slick the damn stuff down.
Yeah.
I tried to style my hair like that for our video, which we'll make available to everyone, just because it's a special thing. Tried to. I haven't done that since the 80s. I could not work it out, so I just gave up.
Yeah, I just had a wig. That's
it's amazing wig. It's perfect. Jeez, if I were you, I'd never take it off.
Thanks to my mom, like she said, sit down. We're gonna do the 80s, and she just snipped the hell out of it, and it became. Yeah.
It looked real. And of course,
very Joan Jett.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. And of course, Baines was Max, the head vampire, and he was
Max Headroom. The head vampire.
Max Headroom. Yes, I love that. So yeah, so Lost Boys, like it is it's a distillation of the pop culture of the era. A lot of different kind of aspects of the pop culture of the era, but it's a horror movie as well. It's a very light, fun kind of horror movie, I would say. Like Baines, you're a connoisseur of the genre, so you definitely put that towards the lightest end, I think, wouldn't you? Or...
For sure. I mean, I guess you could call it a horror comedy, kind of like Shaun of the Dead is, right? Like it's scary. It's got those elements, but yeah, it's sort of lightens things up. It's got really great, fun characters and a character-based comedy. You mentioned like distilling pop culture, and it makes me think of the comic book shop. Maybe I'm not sure, but maybe like the first big movie that featured or somewhat featured comics and a comic shop. I don't know if you saw that in movies, really.
I can't remember any.
Yeah, like what he was saying about comics, I didn't even like. He's talking about. I don't know if it made sense back then to me, but this time it definitely didn't make sense. Like he's in this comic shop, and like you've got Superman 200, with Superman 400. You can't.
Yeah.
It was like really weird. Like, what comic shop is organized that way to begin with? It was very strange, but.
I love it. I love that scene. Okay, so yeah, Corey Haim's character, I can't remember his name. He comes into the comic shop run by the two Frog brothers, who are little kids.
I caught it this time. I wouldn't have caught it as a kid, but this time I caught that it was Edgar and Alan.
Oh, Edgar and Alan.
Oh my God! I didn't. That's another thing. I couldn't.
Poe, yeah.
The names were not as prominent. It was hard for me to understand what character was named what.
Right.
Like David, I realized his name was David in the end when he was being like someone was calling him.
Right.
That's all.
Yeah.
One of the vampires is Marco. I remember that because they actually say his name.
The one that dies in his sleep, basically.
Yeah,
First
the
one
lucky one.
killed. The guy from Winter. He's the guy from Alex Winter from Bill and Ted.
Bill and Ted. Yeah.
And nothing else.
He's
The
awesome.
two Bill and Ted films.
Yeah. I thought it was him. I wasn't sure though.
Yeah.
He's great. He's a very small guy, but yeah, it's good to see him. Right. So, and the other vampires were. I'm looking at it now. I'm cheating. Dwayne, he's the dark-haired, long-haired guy with the dark hair, and there was the blonde one. Oh yeah, Paul. Paul was the blonde one, who they reckon is like Twisted Sister. I don't know.
They probably didn't say those names in the movie, I don't think. Not that I know.
No, I don't remember them saying their names at all, except for Marco.
Yeah, and David.
Yeah, David.
Oh, the main characters, yeah, they'd say David. Oh, they're shouting names at each other. Michael. They're only noodles, Michael.
Michael. Yeah. I love that, the way Kiefer Sutherland says.
You're eating maggots. How do they taste?
Yeah, how do they taste? Kiefer is really good.
He is.
Oh, yeah. Wait,
I really like it. Oh, sorry.
I was going to say, back to that scene in like where they goes into the comic shop, like Corey Haim's character, who is called Sam Emerson, so there's the Emerson family. He walks into the comic shop and he's dressed in this beautiful coat. Oh my God, I wanted a coat like that back then. So yeah, he walks into there and he's greeted by the two Frog brothers, Edgar and Alan, who, even though they're kids, own a comic shop, and which is so weird to me. And he's saying,
"Oh, these two hippies sleeping in the background, they're leaning against the wall sleeping. I thought they were the parents who owned it."
Oh,
probably, yeah.
Could be.
We see them both times that they are in the comic shop. Those adults are there sleeping.
Yeah, they're not moving.
Could be. So Corey Haim's character comes in. Sam comes in and he says, "Yeah, you've got this. I'm looking for this particular Superman character. I don't know, issue 4 or something like that." And the Frog Brother says, "There's only 4 of them in the world." And he says, "Oh no, there's 5, but I'm looking for the other 4. I don't know." Like they're being like dicks about it.
Yeah.
Like,
Does that mean he has? Does that mean he owns the one, or he's looking?
Yes, that he owns.
He just knows it. That's how I took it. That was a little unclear to me.
It's like they're showing off to each other in the most childish way. Like, yeah, I know about comics. Yeah, I know about comics too. Oh yeah, we all know about comics. They're the most important, and they talk about them as if they're the most important things in the whole world.
I mean, that was so relatable, definitely to me. Like, maybe not the specifics of what they talked about, because I have no idea what they were talking about in that way. But just the fact that they were really into comics. I was into comics, so that was really cool.
Superman and Batman and stuff.
And the other thing, that comics are being treated as the actual, basic real resource about vampires and what they are.
Yeah.
Like,
kill all vampires.
It's a survival manual.
Yeah, literally.
That was awesome. Love that. Yeah.
And it's like, did they write this comic themselves, or just?
Yeah.
What's
I also want.
Yeah, like people know, the comic artists know. I don't know. Yeah.
That is interesting. So yeah, that's where he first meets the frog. Sam first meets the Frog Brothers, who he'll come to rely on later on. And Michael, of course, is a big feature in this film, which is Sam's brother, of course. They go to the Santa Clara, the pier, where all the funfair stuff's happening. There's a massive party atmosphere. Everybody's coming. There's a concert with the old Tim Capello with his saxophone doing "I Still Believe." And he has this amazing dance with his shirt off, with his big muscly torso.
Yeah.
as sort of pagan god. That's incredible. And I think that's kind of like mirrored years later when Schumacher did his Batman Forever. And there's a scene where I think there's a huge like auditorium or something. And there's big muscly guys with these kind of like glow stick mohawks. And they're all beating drums and all this kind of stuff.
Very much the same. Yeah, it's the same vibe.
I actually almost had a chance to buy one of those mohawks from that film. It was on this prop store website, but I thought, I just can't justify that money to spend. I could have had something from that film, as an aside. But yeah, so yeah, his friend, so the brother Michael has come in and he's watching this amazing concert and spies this girl Star in the crowd. And oh my god, he becomes obsessed by her. And Michael already has this kind of like detached coolness about him, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like he's
well, I don't know. I mean, for me, he looks a little bit like an airhead.
An airhead?
Yeah, a little bit. Like he tries to be cool, but
a bit spacey, yeah.
Yeah.
But he has this uninvolvedness that makes him more cool. Oh, sorry.
Yeah. She's named Star, right? And if we take the analogy, the parallels with Peter Pan, the second star to the right is the one that leads to Neverland. And
oh my god, Tans. Oh my god.
Yeah. And she is the one that initiates him basically into this vampire circle. Sort of like the world of the vampires. Like he follows her there.
Right.
Very suddenly, yeah. It all kicks off very quickly. So we see those. I don't know where it happens, but you know, the David and his fellow vamps. They're sort of having a bit of a fight on what was a Ferris wheel with that couple, and they get held back by the security guard. And very quickly after that, they go after the security guard who's going on his way home. Get rid of him. Like that suddenly just introduces the horror element. So before that, you didn't have any horror, and then suddenly there it is.
Well, it was the beginning of the movie, wasn't it? Wasn't that like?
Okay, so we're sort of jumping around a bit, but yeah, we're still So
that scene, man, I thought about that scene with the security guard. You know, he walks out, and then you have that high overhead shot of him at night. He's going to his car from the POV of the flying vampires, obviously. I thought about it. Was so creepy. I just thought about it every time I walked outside at night, like work or something, or school. Like this would be in my mind all the time.
And that's another thing. We get a lot of point of view of the vampires, like at least David's point of view. Like they fly and attack, and we see the attack from their point of view, not the victims.
Yes.
And because we do that, we don't know that it's David. We don't know that it's them doing it. We've just seen them have that interaction, and the security guard holding David back with a truncheon under his neck, billy club. But we don't know that that's him taking revenge on this guy. We just assume it. We just make that connection. Because we don't even know where the...
Don't show it. Yeah, you have to imagine it must have been. Yeah.
But, so we see, like, Santa Clara is the murder capital of the world, and there's all these missing people, but we don't know why. and we see this in this confrontation, but we don't know that we don't really know this relationship. So this horror it's just come out of nowhere, really.
You're getting a lot. It's just like in the sort of, it's just there, and it's sort of, it builds up really nicely actually. Like a lot is just kind of there. It's subtly there.
And then next up, we have this couple together in their car. This woman laughing, and this guy trying to kiss her. Laughing. She's reading a stupid magazine, being really annoying, I have to say. We got to imagine that like they're high on something. But then you hear this terrible scraping and stuff, and the roof of the car just gets ripped off, and suddenly they're emptied out into the blackness of night. He gets dragged away, and then she tries to crawl away and gets dragged away as well, just into the darkness. We don't know what happened to them. There's no limbs or anything falling, I don't think. It's just that they disappear.
Yeah.
And they're gone.
Which is good.
It's good.
Yes.
And the other thing is, of course, is Michael and Star, and he sort of gets attracted to Star, this beautiful woman, and he follows her, and that's because she wants to be followed. She's sort of attracted his eye, I think, because later on we learn that he was meant to be her first kill to induct her into being a vampire. So this is a deliberate sort of thing. And we have the David and his mates come up, and it seems to be like, from what we can see, it seems to be that this is perhaps his girlfriend, and there's going to be some kind of like tension between Michael and him. But David asks Michael to follow him on the bikes or have a race or something. So they all basically just take off together, leaving Sam at the fun fair. It's just really cruel, I thought. So Michael buggers off.
80s kids were tough.
Yeah, true. And Michael buggers off and chases after these guys on his little dirt bike. Everyone's riding dirt bikes into the beach and, whatever. Because they're cool metalheads from the 80s, dressed in leather and all this kind of stuff with their big hair. And they all drive off to this mysterious cave somewhere. I think that's probably how it happens.
Yeah. That's exactly how it happens. And I couldn't help thinking that this would never happen now, because you would have at least someone call them on their cell phones, like, where the bleep are you?
Yeah,
that's sort of thing. There would be
God.
no way. But that was a little bit of the culture of the time. Like the kids were out, and they would return when the lights went on at the streets. Sometimes. And over here in Greece, that wouldn't, like, they would return when basically they were being hollered for, come back here, you have a house, that sort of thing. Very, very late after the lights came on. And nobody was worried that something would happen. Nobody.
No. Well, they would be in this town with a massive murder count.
Yeah.
So
and that's a
choice.
Yeah, that's pretty insane, though. Like, you are in the murder town and you let everyone roam and get picked off because that didn't make much sense. Yeah.
Didn't we also have, like, before all that happened, didn't we also have the mum coming into the pier to ask for a job? She would go to the video shop. And she asked the dorky owner of the video shop for a job, Max. So what's her name?
I'm not sure if that happens here or a little bit after, but somewhere in there.
Pretty early, I think.
Lucy.
When the kids go, Lucy. When she goes to the when the kids go to the concert, the live thing at the pier. She goes looking for, well, not necessarily actively a job, but since she sees the sign, she walks in.
Okay, right.
Yeah.
And so Max, the video store owner, has a little bit of a twinkle in his eye for her. You know, immediately you think, oh my god, these two perhaps have a thing together. That's not just like a lady just asking for a job. There might be something happening between these two. So that's another point.
It's there. And you kind of dismiss him, like I definitely noticed. And then like Kiefer Sutherland and the Lost Boys there come into the video store. And Max says like, "Well, I told you not to come in here. You're not supposed to come in here." But there's still, there was never a hint at the time that they were connected.
Yeah,
was involved.
No.
I think the only time when I realized that okay, he's the big bad. It's not David. When he comes to have dinner at home with Lucy, and he tells Michael, "You have to invite me in as the man of the house." And I say, "Okay, yeah, you are."
Yeah.
I didn't get that. I didn't get that at all. Because so I mean, we're jumping way ahead here, but we've got the thing like So Sam thinks there is like vampires. He believes in vampires because the Frog Brothers have told him, so he's primed for it. And he immediately thinks that Max is the boss vampire, even before he comes over. But the dinner is the thing that like goes, oh, it proves he's not the vampire. He's in no way a vampire from the dinner.
Yeah, they use it to like dismiss him as the suspect. Was sort of like, okay, well, suspicion is off him now.
Exactly.
It's fine. You see his reflection, I think, right? And he's okay with the garlic, or he says he is.
But from my first watching of it years ago, I didn't even realize, why would you think he's a vampire? He has done nothing vampiric to earn that thing. Like from the confrontation in his video shop with David and the Lost Boys, you think he's obviously like got a beef with those guys.
I remember kind of feeling the same, if I remember right, way back when. Like, there was no reason to think he was the head vampire. So they really are ahead of a lot of the audience anyway.
They are. I mean, we are very savvy by now anyway. I mean, back then, I think that was like, it was a quite original film in the but now that I think about it, he does have this, like, I told you to get out, shoe. And they walk away with a scowl, David and his posse, and they never exact revenge. They don't attack this guy like you would expect. He would be the next guy they eat.
Yeah, the clues are there.
Yeah, but they never. They just obey. That's all they do.
Yeah. I think Kiefer maybe even gives him a look that we would have no idea what the significance is. As they're leaving the store, there's maybe a little look.
There is. Yeah.
It's ambiguous enough.
Yeah.
Respect.
And I'm not sure about the garlic. I think that he just he did the choke on the garlic, and of course he can't cash it because who did only garlic?
Yeah. Well, who would sprinkle that much on food?
So either he's immune or it did affect him, but he's a strong enough.
Yeah.
I mean, I took it to be he's a strong enough vampire that.
Exactly.
But we are jumping ahead. Like we've got to have the whole thing in the cave
of Michael. Yeah, we got to go into this this magical initial transformation, right, of Michael into
So he
vampire.
So he's in the cave. He's attracted by the whole the setup there. Like, oh my god, this is this amazing hotel from 1910 that got swallowed up by an earthquake, and it's all gothic and amazing with all these posters and things, and the massive poster of Jim Morrison from The Doors, and we connect that to the music. We were strange in the beginning of the movie, and Michael, who's slowly transforming into Jim Morrison. Very quickly transforming into Jim Morrison with the hair and everything. He has the perfect look, and that's
and he's good. He's brooding. He's a little goofy in a way, like Ted said. But this is Jason Patrick is the actor who's still around. And he's done a lot of stuff, and he's the son. I just learned this a few months ago, maybe. He's the son of the guy who plays Father Karras in The Exorcist.
Oh my god, really? So he's got a horror movie.
I thought
prestige.
that was cool and interesting. Yeah.
Baines, you bastard. Army of Darkness is the film you would not tell me the name of.
Yes,
you dickhead. It finally came to me.
Nice.
Talking about horror movies. Half an hour later. Oh God, I love you, man. All right. Yes. Oh, that's amazing about him having that horror movie.
Yeah, pedigree.
Pedigree. That's the damn word. Yeah. I can't think of words. That's incredible. But so yeah, we have these characters all together in the little Neverland, as Tant said, which is it's basically what it is, isn't it? That's Neverland in the cave. And those caves are real. I saw this YouTube video where this guy visited all the places around about Santa Cruz, which is where the Santa Clara was based on. And the cave is real, but it's not really that deep. It's a soundstage, obviously. But that area that you keep on seeing in the film, the front of the cave with the water smashing against it, looks like models. It looks like something fake. That is 100% real. So, there you go. That's amazing. And yeah, so we've got this thing like, so all these guys are together in the cave. They have Chinese food. And David is playing tricks on Michael by changing his awareness of what the food is. Like, the food isn't maggots and it's not worms, is it? I'm pretty sure he just is...
Yeah, I think it's just an illusion. It actually is just food, I think. It's hard to say, though. This whole thing is somewhat maybe abstract, or not abstract, but it is a little abstract, but it's also unclear what's literally going on. It's just a little bit questionable.
Yeah, I mean, that's a vampire power, isn't it?
It's true. It's actually food. You see that it's food at the end. Yeah, so it is just an illusion.
How do you like your maggots, Michael? Michael. He throws them on the ground. Oh, don't worry. Have some noodles. Have some, and then they turn to worms. Yeah. And they are so disgusting.
It's pretty gross.
And then he gives him the wine, of course, to drink. Because now he seems to have just, like, apparently the original idea was for Michael to be the first victim of Star, so she would become a vampire. But David seems to like Michael. It's really weird. I don't know, maybe there's a homoerotic thing going on there, but
I wonder.
David really likes Michael.
I think it's more of a, like, I will find like a sibling, someone that is on par with me, because Michael is his foil in a lot of ways. But it could be something like steering towards queerness as well. And I think that the whole thing with the illusions of the food is just so that when Star tells him that he's going to drink blood, he snorts at you cannot get me a third time.
I didn't get that. You're right.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And he drinks
triple
it
fake out.
Yeah.
Can't fool me again.
Yeah. And the third thing is the actor thing. It is blood.
It's blood, Michael.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
very
dear me. And that is the moment where Michael starts to transform. He's drinking the vampire blood, so all he has to do now is make a kill, and he will be a vampire. But so he's sort of half and half. He's
in the stuff with the bridge. I'm sorry, I had to step away for a moment there. The stuff with the bridge and jumping off the train tracks. Does that come after this or before?
That's after, because Michael has to have power to fly, you see? And he hasn't got that yet until he's got the bottle.
Right.
And I think he just comes home late, pretty much.
But I love the stuff with the train tracks and jumping down. Like, they jump one by one. It's like, really, that feels like maybe if someone really did fall into a bad crowd of just human, like, bad kids or something like that, and like reckless and crazy. And like, they're jumping down off the tracks, and then you realize that they're just hanging on to like the whatever you call it, the metal like support things below.
The rungs,
yeah, like they're hanging off the bottom of this bridge above who knows what. It's all foggy and everything, but it seems like they're really high up, and that's really like so memorable and neat. And it's like, why is this part of it? And then they all fall one by one into the fog, including Michael finally. So that part, it's really like neat and abstract. It's not just, we trick you and seduce you, and then you drink this blood, and then we bite you, and then blah blah blah. It's a little more, I don't know, there's something magical and kind of unclear about the process that was neat.
Well, the Lost Boys can fly, can't they? In the actual Peter Pan,
right?
Yeah, they can.
He's learning how to fly.
Yeah,
exactly. And David does say, when they actually reveal themselves, like in full vamping out, he does say, like, the initiation's over. It's time for you to actually know what you are, and that's when they actually show him the hand, which is pretty vicious and gory. I mean, there is this very
thing in the film.
Yeah, there's this very quick blink and you miss it scene where in silhouettes where David like bites into the back of the skull of the dude that they are eating, and it, like stuff explodes everywhere. It's pretty gory. I mean, splatter level.
These aren't normal vampires that bite someone's neck and gently suck their blood. They rip people to pieces and laugh and have fun while they're doing it. They're animals. These aren't vampires like we know them. These are just beasts. It is horrible. Yeah, these people are having this fun around a fire, listening to the Run DMC version of "Walk This Way" by Aerosmith.
That song was huge back then.
Yeah, transition from metal to rap.
Right.
And the metalheads kill them all. The bastards. No rap, just metal. They rip these people to pieces and they throw their remains onto the fire, and it's horrible. Michael can't take it. He's revolted by it. He doesn't want to be anything to do with this. It doesn't excite him or interest him. He doesn't feel bloodlust. He just feels horror. And he has to get away. And that's the moment he learns, no, these guys aren't my friends. I don't want to be part of this crowd anymore.
Yeah. I think he does experience bloodlust like after this, when he wakes up and he's all weird and has to have the sunglasses in the house and all that. When his little brother is in the bath, he's going up the stairs like a monster. Like, basically, he's going up there to eat him. And if it wasn't for the dog, he would have attacked. Or at least there would be some kind of attempt to attack.
That's interesting, isn't it? The other thing is like the guardian dog aspect. So we have their dog, who is a good guardian of the family and of them. This husky dog who looks a bit wolf-like. And then we have the evil dog, Thorn, Max's dog.
Right.
Who is the
opposite.
The hellhound,
But he's pure, he's like a greyish white. So he's not a black evil dog. He's a white dog who has that kind of wolfish, husky look.
I would say that Thorn is also a good boy. He's protecting his master.
Yeah, he's doing his job. Yeah.
So, yeah.
What, from innocent ladies bringing wine?
Well, still.
But yeah, so Thorn is like the opposite of their dog, who is called Nanook. There we go. So
the good guy's dog, or the human dog.
That's a husky name. Well, it's not a husky name, but it's like an Eskimo name or Inuit sort of name. Yeah. There we go. So that's nice. And the dog's name is Cody Cody, apparently.
Is what?
Sorry, Baines. Cody Cody.
Oh, okay. It's also in here. It's in this area of the movie somewhere where the mom scolds Michael about, like, you stay out all night. You're sleeping all day. You're brooding. You're moody. It's like very much a normal, like,
same thing.
Many teenagers, have had this, or many parents have this problem with teens, and teens have gone through this.
Oh yeah, even wearing the sunglasses during the day,
totally,
like to disguise his bloodshot eyes.
Grumpy teenager, brooding teenager.
The interesting thing is, like, speaking of drugs and drinking, that's where her dad comes in, because he's drinking.
Right.
Sarsaparilla, he reckons. And he's got, like, marijuana plants growing outside the window of his house. So and, you look at him and you think, no, this is a hippie who is, like, living his life on the edge.
Oh,
he's not a normal grandfather. He's going out and dating women dating in inverted commas. You're having booty calls at night, He's not a normal grandfather. So he is the Michael already. He's way ahead of what Michael is.
He's loving life, though.
Yeah.
He's a funny guy.
But still, that's the interesting thing. Yeah, like you say, the vampire initiate Michael is basically just a normal teen. But you think, like, his vampire issues are a bit of a drug allegory, aren't they? Like, you're falling in with a bad crowd and becoming...
Yeah, it feels like at least that's part of the... There's so much going on in this movie, really, which is great. But that's definitely part of it, that little theme.
He looks like someone who is, like, fallen in with heroin. That's the thing. That's what it looks like to me.
Yeah, so he's acting kind of like that.
And that was an 80s thing as well. So he is basically, you think, oh, okay, he's a heroin addict. That's why he's got the glasses. That's why he's unresponsive and can't relate to his mum anymore. And there's that distance between them suddenly, which hadn't been there. Right. So, yeah, a bit of a darkness there. But that's not it at all. All right, so, yeah, We've got all that. We've got the horror stuff. I don't know. We're mixing stuff up. It doesn't really matter. But things start to go, don't they? I mean, we've got the whole thing with, like, the dating thing with Lucy and Max, the video shop owner, and he comes to the house to have the dinner. Sam enlists the Frog Brothers to try and uncover this terrible head vampire, to save his brother, because he doesn't want his brother to have this anymore, and he strongly believes that his brother's a vampire. And we still think, oh, this is a bit, like, weird. I don't know. Like,
And this was the scene where Michael's on his way out, and Max says, well, you're the man of the house, and I won't come in unless you invite me.
Yeah.
And he does. Michael does. Well, you're invited.
Well, you're invited.
That's such a big hint. Yeah, like you said earlier.
Yeah. That's like...
I remember missing that when I was younger. I didn't even...
I missed it too. I didn't pick that up.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, it's like, okay, you are the vampire. You are also a vampire.
But he does it facetiously, though. He says, you're the man of the house, so I should ask you for an invitation. And you think, well, he's just being facetious. But yeah, turns out. But so he comes in, shares the dinner with them as spaghetti bolognese, and yeah, the Frog Brothers have all their little plans with holy water and garlic and mirrors, and nothing works. So it eliminates
he has a reflection. He does reflect in the mirror as well as,
So they didn't have holy water, I think.
Oh, they did in a glass that they tipped on his.
Oh, was it?
Mm.
Oh, okay.
They said, "Does it burn?" No, it's freezing. What are you talking about?
So this should eliminate suspicion, as well as him being a powerful vampire. Maybe it's the invitation that gives him those powers. Like
I think so. I'm
they don't
pretty
really
sure.
explain that. I don't think that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, I think
He does mention it. He does mention it when he's like goading, because he has Lucy in his hands basically, and he goads Michael like, you shouldn't have invited me. The invitation negates everything. That nothing.
Oh, he does say. Okay, I missed it. Yeah. Okay, good.
Yeah. And then Michael sort of does a little cop out, in my opinion. It's like, well, I didn't invite you in now.
Oh dear. So yeah, he's invited in, gets eliminated from the thing, and they're going, "Well, who is the head vampire? It must be David." Well, they don't know. The Frog Brothers have no idea, but David is the head of the Lost Boys. So they make their way to the Neverland Cave, all the way down. Probably jumping over stuff here, but it doesn't matter. The Frog Brothers and Sam.
Yeah,
I think
the Frog Brothers are funny. Corey Feldman especially is very funny. He's very good. It's a great. That's the fact that those characters are in this really make it all work.
Yeah, it's a good little comedy duo thing happening with them.
Yeah, for sure. Like, they're so weird and neat, and they were super popular. I think when the movie came out, loved them overall. But yeah, they go in and it's very creepy when they find the vampires sleeping, hanging upside down. They're not in coffins; they're like in a cave, hanging. It's super creepy.
Yeah, they say the whole place is a coffin.
Yeah.
And there they are, hanging. I think Star is in bed, sleeping like a normal person.
Yeah, she's a little kid also. Yeah.
Laddie the boy. But yeah, so they don't want her to be killed. I think Michael is in there as well, maybe, and he says, "Don't." Yeah, Michael comes in, and he takes Star out. Takes Star
right.
and Laddie. So that's him out of the picture. So it's just the Frog Brothers and Sam left over to try and kill the vampires. And they climb up, and they stab Marco. Lovely little Marco, lost Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure Marco.
Yeah. and he sort of like spectacularly and grossly explodes all over the Frog Brothers.
Yeah. Screams and screams in a ridiculous fashion.
Yeah.
With a big stake through him. But that revives David, at least. I don't know, the other guys still sleeping.
Not us. I think David and one more.
Maybe, yeah, Dwayne and Paul. The other two guys. So yeah, but David definitely, and David. So the Frog Brothers and Sam escape from the cave, but David grabs Sam's leg. He's trying to pull Sam back in, and they can't free him. But they drag his foot into the light, which catches David's arm and burns it. So there we are. Sunlight works against them. Doesn't work against Michael or Star or Laddie, because they can still go in the sun. They just need sunglasses. But it does work on those guys. And yeah, but they escape. And they go, oh my god, oh my god. They've got to get back home now. But they know they're going to be... The vampires are going to come after them. Like, there's no escape, because that's what they do. Once someone wrongs them, they come after you and kill you. So they get rid of everybody from the house, like the mum, Lucy, and the grandpa. Yeah, get rid of him. Like, say someone wants to have a booty call with him, and he apparently believes them and goes because he's a horn dog.
Yeah.
So he leaves. So yeah, it's up to these guys to fortify the house, which basically consists of closing windows and setting up I don't know, squirt guns full of holy water. Oh, they steal holy water from a thing in a church.
That was hilarious. I love that scene. Like they just barge in like when they are having a christening, and they just fill the water bottles to the brim with holy water and just wave and leave again.
So, and they fill a bathtub with this stuff, which is
no, they just pour it in. And the whole idea of holy water is that any other water it touches also becomes holy water. So they just dump in what holy water they have in this bathtub full of...
They create homeopathic holy water, basically.
Yeah, basically that's it.
And fill it with garlic. It's just a garlic soup.
Yeah.
It's all the garlic and all the holy water. And they fortify the place. And so they're already there, with Star and Laddie protected within the house, and they're waiting for the vampires to come, and which they do most spectacularly. I think the first one is Dwayne the vampire bursting through the fireplace. He comes down the chimney and just bursts out. The fire can't hurt him, and suddenly they're beset with vampires. And who's the first one to die? I think the first one to die is Paul. Paul, which is the blonde-haired one, who they say he's the Twisted Sister guy. He comes after the Frog Brothers in the bathroom. And they squirt holy water all over his face, I think. And they show him the bathtub full of garlic and holy water. And he goes, garlic don't work. And then they push him into the bathtub. I think squirting holy water on his face, puts him in.
Doesn't Nanook? I have this wrong, but doesn't Nanook?
He does.
Nanook, they sort of splash water in his face, and he goes and then stuff start to smoke, and melting,
like acid,
and then Nanook, basically acid, and then Nanook just topples him right in the bathtub, and then he just explodes there, but he doesn't just explode. Yeah,
the bath seems to he melts, and then he just turns into liquid, and then it just starts draining down, and then go on.
Yeah, and then like every water pipe in the house basically explodes, and
with blood.
You have with blood, and you have this goo shooting out of every tap.
It's disgusting. The toilet explodes. The sinks explode. Everything.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, the bloody Frog Brothers, you've caused thousands of dollars worth of damage in these people's homes. My God.
Yeah.
The father's ruined.
And not even
everything.
to kill the top vampire, just to kill the side guy.
Exactly, just one vampire. Oh my God. So we have Paul. Drowned in the bathtub and dissolved, and exploding into blood everywhere. Then the next death is Dwayne, which is really a shit name for a vampire, but there you go. So Dwayne is the dark long hair, who is like the dark brother to Paul is the light brother. And so Dwayne is killed by Sam.
Yeah.
Who initially lifts Dwayne, he lifts Sam right up into the air and is going to drop him, and Sam sprays him in the face with holy water, and then tries to kill him with a bow and arrow. And we think, oh my God, he shot Dwayne the vampire, and Dwayne comes crashing down. But no, Dwayne is just pretending. And he says, you missed me. Moronically, he says that, while Sam is pointing an arrow directly at his chest.
Yeah.
And of course, Sam lets fly with his next arrow, which stabs him right through the chest. More on Dwayne.
Yeah, well, he was Dwayne. What you?
Yes, you idiot. Jesus, you could have killed Sam, but no. So yeah, he gets stabbed through the chest, and then his head No, his head doesn't explode. What happens is the arrow shoots him back against the wall, and he gets electrocuted as well. And then his whole body explodes, like his head explodes into blood, and his hands explode into blood as well. And it's just a fountain of blood everywhere. Just very, very incredible. So that's pretty awful. And this music starts playing. It's this two Australian bands, Cold Chisel and In Excess together. Something about a party, I can't remember, but it's playing for the second time, which is a good thing. Yeah. Gonna party all night? I don't know, something like that. Anyway, so yeah, he dies. And then we have the who we think is the chief vampire. David, who is of course Kiefer Sutherland.
Mm-hmm. In this a bit
vampy.
Yeah, and he fights, of course, with Michael, who vamps out as well.
He doesn't want to kill Michael. He doesn't want to kill Michael. He's saying like, yeah, you be my brother, be my friend, be one of us. And I'm thinking, oh my god, I'm almost like actually rooting for David.
Yeah, it is a little bit heartbreaking that he says like, I just come with me. Yeah. It's a sincere appeal.
Oh my god, I wanted them to be friends.
Yeah.
Like that brotherly love kind of thing. I want that to be a thing. What about you, Baines?
This makes me want to watch it again. You're right. And I love that the motivations are still clear. He's not trying to kill him. He's not seeking revenge. Like, join us.
Yeah.
Join me. Yeah.
And consider that Michael has already brought about, maybe not directly himself, but he has brought about the death of like 2 or 3 of his lost boys. And he just doesn't care. He's like, Johnny, be my friend, be my brother. And,
and he's not,
yeah.
And he's not saying that as because he's wanting to talk his way out of death.
Mm-mm.
Like,
he
genuinely wants him to be his friend. He thinks he can beat him. He doesn't see Michael as a threat.
No.
But Michael kills him, impales him on the horns of an oryx or something, or a gazelle.
Yeah.
I don't know, but...
Yeah.
And
then nothing changes.
What's that?
Yeah.
Well, the lovely thing about David's death is the other guys like have this enormous like, oh my god, blood splattering. Blah. But David, he becomes an angel when he dies. His vampiricness removes from him, and his face is just pure and childish. Kiefer Sutherland becomes this like pure, innocent child when he dies.
And they make it this really somber moment. They really stretch that moment out after he dies. Like, thou shalt not fall, thou shalt not kill.
Yeah, and the music as well is almost cherubic in a sense. Like it does have this very light thing.
He just falls asleep, and it's so it adds to the tragedy of the thing. It's like this boy is dead now, even though he was the most evil of all the vampires we've seen so far.
Yeah.
But he's not in that moment.
There's a lot there. And also, Michael doesn't become a human again.
No.
Right? So it's
and nothing changes.
He's like, oh no, now I've killed someone. Yeah. So
he's even more vampiric. He
never
has been.
Like now it kind of feels like, to me anyway, like, oh, is it too late? Like now that he's killed, it just I mean, he was a vampire, but it has that feeling anyway. It's like
and he hides behind Star, like, don't let them see me like this and all that. And Star also says, like, I don't feel any different either. She is also like half vampire still.
Yeah.
So
and the next thing, there's another vampire we didn't even know about. Like, who the hell is this? This tiny vampire just erupts out of these cushions or whatever and starts attacking the Frog Brothers. And it's Laddie, the boy, Star's brother. And they say, oh, this crazy Eddie monster tried to attack us.
Yeah, the references are, I mean, some people would have known Eddie Munster. I would have been too young for that even at the time. But Twisted Sister and Eddie Munster. It's like people hear that now and probably have no idea what they're talking about.
Yeah, I mean, Eddie Munster, the Munsters was always repeated, so I had seen that at the time. So
if you were watching reruns on TV in the 80s. We didn't get that. I don't think I knew that reference back then.
Really?
But
oh yeah, so that then we have Max coming into the house, and they have the whole thing about, I didn't invite you now, so Max is facing off. But Max also introduces himself to Lucy, but he initially doesn't seem to be a vampire. It's just Max and Lucy come in and say, oh my god, what's happened? What in the world has happened? What have you done? And Max comes over and he sort of brushes his hands against David's face. David, his this dead guy, and it's like, oh my god, suddenly he's not doing that as like a horrified thing. He's like grieving over a fallen son.
Yeah.
And then it all comes clear. Max was the chief vampire, and Max comes up to Lucy and says, basically, I am the head vampire, and I always wanted you. So it wasn't about Michael and Sam wanting to, being vampires. It was always about Lucy. And he says, I wanted us to be a family. The boys needed a mother, and that was going to be you. Like, basically Wendy from...
Yeah. And it's like my boys and your boys, then we could be together as well. It's like,
And the Frog Brothers make fun of that, saying the Brady Bunch.
The Brady Bunch.
Yeah.
But so that's what the whole thing is about. And there's the song Cry Little Sister, which I always thought, how is this even connected to the film? I love that song. And the writer of the song, basically, I looked it up on the internet. He explains that it was about the family. That's what the song's about, because the vampires are after to being connected as part of a family. And that's what the song is about. Cry, little sister. Cry for your brother. And that's what it is about. Them being a family. And that's what Max always wanted, which is so interesting. But now Max has to die. But no one can kill Max. Like Michael as a vampire, now Michael should come to the fore. Michael's thrown off like he's nothing.
Yeah.
Sam and the Frog Brothers, everyone takes a turn.
Yeah, because he's like the master vampire. He's set up as being like the most powerful one.
And he really
is. Yeah. And you have one patriarch kill the other because the grandfather sort of barges in with a huge stake in his truck, and he just backs up with force, stops suddenly, and the stakes take off, and they sort of impale him.
That was so unexpected, because we did not think of him. Like, he was out of the picture. Like, he would only sort of drop in and then drop out. So he was never like a main kind of character in this whole action that's happening. He was just there for a commentary and like a bit of colour. But suddenly he just comes in, slaughters Max as easily as anything, and he's dead in seconds with his stakes and being rammed against all the antlers and stuff like that on the wall. And he just goes to the fridge, gets a beer, and says, like, one thing I can't stand about Santa Clara is all the bloody vampires. Damn vampires. And it's like, oh, he knew about this all along. What the hell?
Yeah.
I almost expected, and I wonder if it is like a cut scene somewhere in the movie, that all the taxidermied animals that he put next to the kids, maybe those were some kind of deterrent from the
ward off, like scaring evil spirits away.
Yeah, we never see that come to some kind of a resolution, but I think that probably they were leading to something like that he was actually putting these as words.
Could be. I mean, there's sequels to Lost Boys, kind of straight to video sequels, straight to DVD sequels, but there are other stories related to it, which I don't know. You can watch those. I haven't ever seen them, but there are.
I will not watch those.
No.
There's comics even.
You might be right, though. There might have been more that was cut, because it does. I mean, you get to see a scene with Star and Laddie. Now they're human. Michael's human, but it kind of. And then Grandpa has his little joke, like all the vampires. and then it kind of ends like really
abruptly. Yeah.
I'm surprised rewatching it,
so
like,
abrupt.
oh, that's it. It's just over.
Yeah.
But I think because the car smashes through the front of the house, that works for me. It works for me that it's it's all done and it finishes with a joke. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that definitely works for me too. Yeah, but it did still surprise me that like it was so suddenly. Everyone after he makes that joke, everyone just looks at or that he says that line, like they just look at the three family members just look at him, and a fade to black. Like, oh,
people are strange when you're a stranger.
Yes.
Which is a cover version of When You're Strange. Because I think they played the original version in the beginning and the cover version at the end, which is a nice little bookend. Yeah, and then the Thou Shall Not Fall. Oh, all the great songs. This movie is just full of good songs. It's got an amazing soundtrack. What else? Okay, so we're finishing up now. I'll say that I watched this YouTube video about a guy who visited all the locations. That house, the Emerson household, is real, and that place is actually in Santa Cruz as well, which is stood in for Santa Clara. So their house is there. Are you surprised by that? It is a historic landmark, which I thought is incredible.
I'm not really, because it did look, it looked like more than a set, the way that it was shot.
It's sort of in the same location as it was in the film. You go down a long road, and it's so that's real. So normally you'd have like a bunch of different locations. Oh yeah, we pretend it's down this road, but the house is really somewhere, just outside Hollywood or something like that. But no, it's there. I mean, the inside of the house is obviously a soundstage, but the building is real. Anyway, we got to finish up. Any last thoughts?
I really like that all the special effects were basically real, and also the first half, or almost like the first 45 minutes of the movie, you get quote unquote nothing, in the sense that you don't see any vampires actually. Like you see the impact of the vampires, but that's all you see really. It is, and in that way it is a slow burn, and then suddenly everything all at once. And I find that this is something that wouldn't be easily done today, in today's.
No, everything has to be quick and forced on you. I love the fact, they didn't have digital editing or digital filmmaking then, so we don't have the vomitsome color grading that everyone pretends they can do, especially in the not the 90s, but the early 2000s, where everything was suddenly all blue or all green. Oh my god, stop that, you idiots. This film doesn't have any of that. The color isn't great in this film. Like, the lights are too strong, I find. So there's the lighting isn't very, very clever in most of the film. In some places, it's really good, but in most of the film, it's too bright. But still, I appreciate that it's not fake. So it's all real, and the colors are real, not digitally enhanced. So I like that.
I like all that too, and I like how well written it is, how sophisticated it is with the theme, and like the family thing, and the well realized characters in writing and in acting. Yeah, it was really
cast so well,
very well,
awesome,
wonderful,
awesomely cast. I mean, all the people are perfect for the roles.
Dad, absolutely.
Who is who's the father guy?
I know I've seen him in other stuff. I was trying to place it. I wasn't sure.
He used to be in this like show called Mr. Wizard, I think, something like that. Like he played this.
Oh, Mr. Merlin from the 80s.
Mr. Merlin, that was it. So he was sort of like, I loved that show, and that was him.
Wow.
So immediately I loved that.
Okay, that's how I know him. or other than this
Fantastic
movie.
guy.
That's how I know him. Yeah, and Diane Wiest is an amazing actor. I haven't seen anything of her recently, but she's amazing.
Paul and Dwayne, the two vampires, don't know from anything, but of course we know Marco, who is Alex Winter.
Yeah.
Love Alex Winter.
Yeah, who is fantastic guy. Corey Haim and Corey Feldman were in everything for a long time in the 80s and the 90s. They were always fun.
Yeah.
And just the lead, Michael Emerson, Jason Patrick. I don't know him from anything else, but Batesy said he's in other stuff.
He's in other stuff. I know that much. Speed 2.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
Plenty
and
of other
Edward Herman,
Edward
who is Max, the gigantic, tall guy. He's huge. Been in a lot of stuff too. Yeah,
lots of
fantastic guy. Well, all right. That's been our Halloween cast for today. 711. Thank you very much for being on the Halloween cast, guys. I love you.
Thank you, and happy Halloween, which is like the time that you are listening. When you will be listening, I think it will be still upcoming.
Halloween Eve.
Yeah.
Nice.
So,
happy Halloween.
And watch our video too. We'll have it available to you guys as a link.
Yeah.
So you can see us.
See us be like vampires. So.
Our version of Lost Boys vampires. Not exactly cosplaying of the character, but doing along the theme of the characters.
Yeah, in the style of these vampires. So.
Exactly.
They're the siblings who got away from the Lost Boys movie. Basically.
Yeah. No, we are from the other clan. We are still around.
It's still going strong all these decades later.
Yeah, we're further down in LA, but they were all the way up in Santa Clara. So,
yeah.
You're smarter. You keep a low profile.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right. Bye-bye, everyone. See you next week.
Bye.